Hello everybody, welcome to tonight's stream. We are going to get started off with just some normal work, some discussion tonight, because honestly there are some things going on in the 3D printing world today that kind of warrant discussion with how the world's changing and stuff like that, and what all's going on in the world, because honestly I think there's some weird stuff going on in the world today. So definitely want to tap on that conversation today, maybe even get your guys' input. I don't normally like going into political type things and all that kind of stuff, but tonight I think I'm just gonna have to dive down that wheel well, but also kind of keeping some of the promise. If you caught last Friday's video, here's the Babylon 5, the second piece that I printed. We're gonna put this together tonight. I'm gonna start taking that off the raft here shortly, because this is going to be a lot of work to get that. We might get the center section put together tonight, but I doubt we'll get the solar blades put on there. So hopefully everybody's having a good day. You can kind of see a little bit of my table has changed, courtesy of Hobby Zone. Go check out their organization and stuff, guys. It's pretty awesome. It is making everything on my desk. Well, everything's getting on my desk, which is great. I've got my shakers. I got a lot of my paint sitting up here. We'll probably do a video on this separate here before too long. Or I may put that video over on the second channel, which the channel is now up, but I don't have any content posted over there, of Rise Miniatures and Models. Or is it Rise Models and Miniatures? Let me check that real quick. What did I name that channel? Switch account. Rise of Miniatures and Models. So that channel is now out there on YouTube. We still got a lot of work to actually get content out there, but this desk reorganization is definitely one of it. As you can actually kind of see the line there of where I've been able to push back. And this new mat is actually, the old mat was like 21 by 21. This is 36 by 24. So a lot bigger area to work with, a lot of different things. You guys can see I got models all over the place. Some models that are not supposed to be out here, but are, like that one. Kind of all just kind of works in progress tonight, but kind of one of those things we're just kind of seeing stuff going on in the world today, and I definitely want to talk about that tonight too. Because, you know, 3D printing's always been kind of a controversial thing. Working with printers and stuff, it's fun. You know, we get to do cool stuff. We get to make cool models. But, you know, it's one of those things when I look out in the world and I see, you know, take down this model because of this. And you guys can probably guess I'm talking about Honda. Their recent ploy to get the large model places to take down anything connected to their cars. Whether it be car parts or anything like that. Where Ford, on the other hand, is handing out their parts. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of Ford, and I am a Honda owner. We just bought a new Honda, to be honest with you. And to kind of see this reaction kind of is disappointing in a lot of ways. There's a market to be had here. And telling sites to take down, you know, customizations and stuff that people have made for your car, they're just making your car better. Instead of telling them to take it down, shouldn't you instead be looking at the model and saying, wow, that's a huge improvement. Maybe we should buy this model from this person, own proprietary rights, and make our cars better. But instead, you're just spoiling the game for everybody, and that's stupid. The whole point of 3D printing is to give some self-sufficiency and ability to be creative. And when we start doing this kind of stuff, the creativity gets lost. And the whole point of growth is creativity. So while at some point I understand protecting intellectual property and stuff like that, but also, is it fair to tell us we can't 3D print anything for our cars? My point of view is no. I bought my car. The fact that I have to 3D print a part to make my car better kind of says something about the car. But all in all, it's a big legal thing. It seems silly, but it's really not, because this is going to kind of define what we can 3D print in the future. And we see this kind of stuff. Games Workshop, they don't want you 3D printing their stuff, which, you know, is fair. They're a model company. They're making miniatures. It takes a long time to design these within the game specs. But also, let's be honest, the only place I can get Death Corp of Krieg is either in the Kill Team box or a lot of money over on Forge World. And guess what? Those resins, they're printed. I'm standing on a soapbox, I know. But I'd love to hear your guys' opinion of this too. Because does it make sense that Ford is handing out, saying, here, 3D print? Where other companies are saying, no, you can't do this. This is our property. No 3D printing. I mean, where does the right to fix come into this? Because, you know, we've had this problem with like cell phones and different things like that where you can't fix it. Everything's integrated. There is no ability to fix or upgrade a device. The only way to fix or upgrade is to buy a new one. Which just, I get dumbing down the thinness and stuff, but honestly, what if you really like that old iPhone and you want to just keep using it? I mean, what is wrong with that? In my point of view, nothing. But, you know, I mean, it's one of those things, you know, you're out there, you're working with a model, doing stuff like that. Respect the creators' rights. Hey, Doug, long time no see, man. Welcome back. Going pretty good, just kind of on a soapbox about this whole Honda thing. So it's kind of just one of those things, you know, be respectful to the creators and everything and the intellectual property. But is it right to go to these sites and tell them to take down something that someone else created to make your product better? My personal opinion is no. The smart thing would be to engage the artist instead of telling them, oh, you can't have that up, you can't do this. But we're all artists in some way. And I think that's kind of where I'm going with it is, you know, 3D printing is going to happen. It's getting cheaper and cheaper every day. So instead of trying to take something away from your customer, shouldn't you be more empowering your customer? Because if I can make things that make my product better, or allows me to better take care of the product that I've purchased from you, isn't that a smarter way to go? But I don't know. Kind of one of those things. That's my little soapbox about it. You know, if you are going to 3D print, try to do it the right way. So satisfying. I appreciate it, Doug. I know some of my streams lately have been short too, so I've been kind of skedaddling out. Ooh, that's got a... Is that a defect? Oh, it's not a defect. It's just a piece of support. I like it when things print properly. That printed very nicely. So if you guys haven't checked it out, video posted last Friday was me basically getting this printed out, and I said I would assemble it on stream. I don't know if we'll get it fully assembled, but we are going to work on it. And definitely kind of one of those things, I want to hear from you guys on what I was just talking about. Should we have the right to print whatever we want? Or, you know, what's a good way that a company can interact with its clients that are 3D printing? Because, I mean, in the future, my opinion is 3D printers are going to be in everybody's house at some point, especially as they get easier to use. They're going to start showing up more and more. But what do I know? I'm just a little engineer, right? It's glad to have you back, though, Doug. Yeah, this Babylon 5 prints out really well. This is actually the second of them. If you go check out the video I posted last Friday, you get to see the fully assembled, nice looking, because it does have some defects. Like right here, this is actually a defect that I will have to clean up and will have to fill, but not a terrible and undoable thing. Now wait till you see me strip the reactor part here. This is amazing how well this comes out. We'll get to that in a second though. As I finish getting this center beam out of here. So it's kind of one of those things I did get on a soapbox there, but right to print and all that kind of stuff all comes into fair game. So, oh, you are stuck on there. Time for the snip snips. There it goes. Love it when it pops. So satisfying sometimes. I gotta be careful because I don't want to break the tongs off. I appreciate it, Doug. Ow. I'm still working on this Friday's video. I haven't gotten near as far as I wanted to on it yet, but we're going to take a little bit of a dive into resin printing. Specifically the Saturn S versus the Photon Mono X. While I sit and I wait for my new M3 to be shipped out. The M3 Max to be specific. So looking forward to that. Going from a 9-inch to a 13-inch build plate in resin land. It's going to let me do a lot of bigger resin prints. Depending on how time goes tonight, we may even get a Mandalorian helmet up here. And sorry for the whistle. That's my dog. She's apparently having a nightmare. Eva. That woke her up. Dogs are, she's like a little kid. She has nightmares just like the 5-year-old. Let's see here. I'm just cleaning away support right now. Just uncovering some of the fine detail in there. Doug, it's good to see things are getting better and things are going better. That is a support piece. There we go. But other than that, things are going pretty good around the world. Hi, Andrew. Welcome back. I think you were here last time. Yeah, this print came out really well. I'm really happy with the way the design came out, especially the spine. So one of the things, the model kits to get Babylon 5 anymore. If you were to go try to find the model kit on eBay or something like that, you're going to spend around $150. Because they just don't make this stuff anymore. And which is surprising with the... I don't know if it's going to happen anymore, but I know they were talking... Oh, sorry to hear that, Douglas. I didn't know she'd passed away. You told me last I had seen she was not doing well. So sorry to hear that, man. My condolences to you and your family. I know that's a hard thing to go through. Something I haven't had to go through yet. And the designer of the station did a really good job that this can go either way. It's the Doesn't really matter which way you put this one. Was a little disappointed by the amount of stringing that I got, but I was using some different filament and I forgot to change my settings for it. So a little bit of boo on me for that one. This one is made with eSun resin. Filament, sorry. I love their filament. It does a great job for prints. It really does. I go through here and get all these little support pieces out without breaking the infrastructure here. All right. This is coming along really good. Taking off supports is always a game. Now my goal tonight is at least get the center section. Oh man, I hate to hear that. Losing a family member is not one of those things, and especially cancer is a lot harder. It's hard to watch someone you love waste away. Doug, hopefully you'll be able to move past and things will start going a little bit more right for you. All right. Oh, way to give me a heart attack. Well, let's just throw a model. It ain't gonna hurt it. Trim this one up a little bit so it somewhat sits together. This is gonna be the hard piece because of this deformation it's got, but we're not gonna let a deformation stop us from building a model. No siree, Bob. I'm trying to keep all the little pieces here together. So, and depending on how time goes tonight, we're gonna look at a model I have never done here in a little while. I keep getting hey, 2-a-days, welcome back. I keep getting asked to print it, and we're going to hopefully take a look at 2001 and A Space Odyssey tonight. I found a really awesome model. It's going to definitely push the limits of my printers. Yeah, Babylon 5. Yeah, I just rewatched it not too long ago. So, random first 2 seasons stuff, Shadow War, Earth War, or the Centauri War. What's the favorite? Or I guess I should say, let's throw in the beginning in there and have the Earth Minbari War. Which conflict was your guys' favorite in that show? Me personally, I liked the Earth. The battle to retake Earth. Human versus human was pretty awesome, to be honest. I thought it was well done. I hate seeing that Earth top of the line ships were always outmatched. That was a little scary. Seems like we were always getting our butt kicked with the, even the poor Omegas were always seemed like they were getting blown up. All right, this piece next. I can at least go upward. And look what I finally ordered. Let's get that super glue activated. All right. There's the center, most of the center spiral. I've been watching the Halo show. They gotta do something. I feel like we started off really, really fast and strong, and now we're kind of stagnating. So I'm kind of curious how we're gonna go with that. So it scares me a little bit to see a new show like that. Kind of. We started out with this conflicting badass, whoops, wrong word to say there, but true. This silver team, which is not right. We all know he's blue team. We all know the truth. Let's be honest. But there's definitely some cool stuff going on. This last episode with the hunters was really nice. Oh yeah, they showed his face. They showed his face like 20 minutes in. So, but we didn't learn anything from the Mandalorian on how to do any of that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of one of those things. There's a lot. There's a lot. They're kind of keeping that it's not the same timeline. That this is kind of an alternate universe kind of thing that doesn't correspond to the games, which is a bit problematic. Because you're doing all the same stuff, but saying it's not part of the game. Okay. Silly things like that. But, I'm willing to watch it to see where it goes. My wife has actually really been interested into it. So, we're going to see where it goes. So, but, a lot of cool ship silhouettes have been shown on there. You want to see Condor's kind of been explained a little bit more. So there's been good things. There's been bad things. So, but it's one of those things too. It's a show that I'm gonna say you need to form your own opinion. So. And, it's new, so a lot of people have bashed it that are long-term Halo fans. I think there could have been some of the intellectual property is on, some of it is off. This last episode had some key pieces that go back to established lore, so I was happy to see that. Yeah, this 2 days, this is the hardest part of this model, unfortunately. But the way this is, it has to be the hardest part. There it goes. There's the pop I was after, to try to get to the detail underneath. There we go. There are good things. There's some good CGI. There's some bad CGI. I mean, even Boba Fett had some bad CGI going on with those Vespa speed bikes. I mean, you know, there was some problems with that one. But I think it's an interesting show. I think it's got promise. Will it get a second season? Don't know. Andrew, have a good one. Hopefully it's a good dinner. Worth it. All honesty, I think part of my problem here is I'm just using the wrong snips. Let's get something a little bit more powerful, shall we? These are my Monvincent MC180 flesh cutters. These things just kind of rip into about anything I'm doing. But there's just a fine little narrow line here I'm going down. That's making this one a little difficult to do. Because I'm trying not to damage the underlying detail here. The cool part is, once I have a good rip into this, a lot of this will come up very easily. So, kind of just one of those things. I was on my soapbox earlier today. Kind of missed that about the whole Honda 3D printing thing. Kind of got on the right to fix it and all that, but nothing too crazy. The HUD design, I'm curious how the helmets actually look and kind of feel when they're worn too, because those poor guys are wearing them the whole time for the most part, except Master Chief. I mean, I think he's had it on really once and then maybe twice in this last episode. So he's running around without his helmet on a lot, which is a little disturbing, but I didn't make the show. I just run with it. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Big rip. I feel like this last episode kind of slowed it down a little bit, but we've got good characters back. Season 3, we're getting everybody back, which is pretty cool. We're getting the entire original cast for the final season, so that'll be awesome. Picard is a lot of fun. It will not surprise me if this part breaks. It broke on mine originally. Kind of was a little bit of a help that it broke, but if we can get away without breaking it, I'm happy that way too. Just got to make a decent hook point in here to start getting down underneath this. There's that reactor. In a way, it's kind of just like that. That's the wisdom of using PLA. PETG and stuff like that, this would be a lot harder. But that's the fun of it too. It's getting in here and digging into these pieces and these parts and getting to actually work with the creativity here. Because just because I build it a certain way doesn't mean it has to stay that way. I don't have to use the blue or silver color schemes or anything like that if I don't want to. So there's options here that can be a lot of fun. I do have the model for Babylon 4. I tried and failed the first attempt with it. So I don't know if I will circle back to that one yet or not. Got some other projects in the work. I mean, Will Wheaton's already engaged with his Ready Room show, so it would not surprise me if he tries to get in there. I mean, you know, he's running around with the Traveler, so it would be probably not hard to pull him in. I'm just saying, you're on the right track with that. Yeah, I'm curious to see where this week's episode will take us, because we're kind of starting to resolve the issue with Picard. We've got a Borg Queen on the loose that's got to be hunted down inside Girardi's mind. So we got a lot to come up with in that show. So, all right. We have officially cut all the way down to the model now. There we go. Now back to the big boys. But you know, Picard is ending next season. Not because of ratings or anything like that. This was never meant to be a long haul series. Even Patrick Stewart from the beginning admitted that. So it's kind of a interesting ball game. And we'll see where they take it. And like I said about that breaking, it just did. That's okay. That is perfectly fine because it lets me do that. Makes life a little bit easier. It lets me get that reactor out. There we go. So we got to fix that. Get that glued. And we're starting to move down the faster track finally. I'm just using plain old super glue. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. Before I put that on there, smooth that burr off, and on goes the reactor. There's that section. Well, it was one of those things, just to get him to come back and be Picard again was hard enough. He had actually turned down reprising the role several times. Everything pretty much just about, well, that is the actual last piece that's got to come off the raft. And that means a little bit of cleanup time. So we do have some fun stuff hopefully coming up here soon. They're ordered. I'm waiting for them to ship. I've got the Photon M3 Max on order. I've got the Frozen, their big boy printer, resin printer is also on order. So those should be coming in soon. So we got some cool stuff coming to the channel here, hopefully before too long. Of cool new printers to open and stuff like that. I'll be right back, guys. Gonna put this over to the waste bin. Put that in the bits bins for some other day. Oh man, that's awesome, Doug. That's awesome you got to meet them. I have met no one. Surprisingly, I have met no one. You would think as big as a nerd as I am about it, I would have met somebody, but there's never been a time and place for it, unfortunately. One of these days, hopefully. So these I'm going to do a little differently. So we're going to get my favorite toy out for this one. Because quite frankly, just glue's not going to cut it. So out comes the 3D printing pin. And we're going to weld these two pieces together. So get that warming up. I'm going to move Lilith over here a little bit that I've been working on. And get that kind of moving forward. I would someday like to possibly, like pick William Shatner. Because Will Shatner, he's a big advocate, horse riding, all that kind of stuff. Patrick Stewart, I'd really just love to sit down and just have a conversation about his life and the advocacy that he pushes for. Just kind of his life work. I mean, just being an actor is not all that he does. He is very much in the world view. We're still warming up. World view and world settings of everything that's going on around the world. So it's always kind of a huge interest talking to people and, learning about their beliefs and stuff. Always kind of a cool thing. Always a cool thing. But trying to also make sure I keep my word here as I try to do a lot of assembly. This probably will get spread across 2 streams, and I got to get more work done on my my Diablo figure here. But I will share with you guys one thing I finished that's not a 3D print, but it is a model. And I'm only calling it, it's only done for now, I think. It probably will get a revisit. But this is one of the models I've been working on, a model kit wise, is this is a Necron Tesseract from 40K. I know the camera doesn't really do it justice on the detail, but there's a lot of work and a lot of hand painting in this guy. That went into this one. So my Necron army is coming along. I know if you've been catching the streams, you've kind of been seeing some of those parts sitting around the desk. And yeah, now they're done. The Star Trek cruise is on a list of, it's on a bucket list for me. But we will see if that ever, it's not a huge thing if it doesn't happen. It's not a huge thing if it does. We got the 3D printing pin finally up to heat. So we'll start putting the bead. Now, I'm putting this on the inside because I just don't want people to see the bead. Waiting for it to kind of filter down in. Get me some filament going. The Star Trek cruise always looked fun. I would have loved to gone to the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas, but I don't think that's there anymore. All right, so we'll let that guy cool down. We'll get this other one. It's always great how this one simple tool can get your model to bind really nicely, really quickly. And look at that. 2 really thin pieces are now one nice solid piece. A little bit of cleanup, but with that being on the inside, I mean, you're not going to even tell that I did that. So yeah, there was one just recently up in Chicago that I found out after the fact. I probably might have tried to go to, but I've only been to one Star Trek convention, and I don't even remember who was there. I was young. My parents took me because I was just so into Star Trek that we went to one in Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, it was the one at the Hilton. That's exactly the one I'm talking about. I would have loved to have seen that, gone through Cork's bar, but yeah, too slow. Let's get this excess off my pen here because we don't need that. Let's kind of clean this up. I need to get my heat gun and deal with the stringing that's on here. So real cool quick tip, if you've got a lot of stringing, a heat gun will take it away pretty quick. It'll help do a decent job, but also just time and patience of just running your fingers down it will actually get rid of a lot of stringing. This one's string, just because it was really kind of thin parts close together, the printer was hopping really fast. Even with my standard retraction at 6.5, I don't think that would have saved me much here. But you can see just moving my hands over it takes care of a lot of it. Takes care of a lot of it. And there you go. You got a really strong, basically solid piece, solar sail that needs just a little bit of hand sanding and clean up, and bada boom, bada bing. You've got your solar sails. Oh, tribbles. And no, don't ever ask me to print one. I can just see that going horribly. can see that being a horrible thing to try to print. But yeah, one of these days I will go do something cool like that. But like I said, we are kind of trying to just get the center section kind of lined out. There's the groove I was looking for. That is going to go along rightly nice. And I do appreciate you guys being here tonight, as always. Another thing I want to bring up tonight is just the channel's growth. Before I launched the stream tonight, we were at 3,996 subscribers. So we're on the verge of crossing that 4,000 mark, which is pretty awesome. Checking right now, well, we're 5 away. That's okay. That's a-okay. So we are growing. Growth is good. That is always a great thing, and I appreciate everybody that helps out the channel, comes and watches. You are noticed and you are appreciated. So we started this journey in a few months. We've been going for 2 years. Yeah, the channel has been going for almost 2 years. Wow. Something that started because I lost my job during the pandemic. And me cruising Facebook, watching people selling printers because they didn't know how to do it. Well, now I do this once a week. I make a video once a week, and doing some teaching in a few schools to do 3D printing awareness and getting ready to even start hopefully launching. And once the desk is done here, I can start working on the model kits. Because I've got an Enterprise E sitting down there that needs assembled and painted. Teaching painting techniques, tools like that, I think will be a lot of fun. Waiting to see if that takes hold. Acting like, yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured was going to happen. Get a little bit more super glue higher up. That deformity is causing a problem. Get the super glue back on here. Get some super glue accelerator sprayed on there. And let's try that again. There we go. There's the core. Now, like I told you guys, or if you didn't catch it earlier, this is 36 inches now. So, got a bigger mat, a little bit of a wider angle view on what I'm doing. But the mat's 36 inches, and yeah, you can tell this is a pretty good sized model. For what it is. Hey, Wizard Fear 85, doing well. Glad to see you here. What fun projects have you been up to? I know what projects 2-A Models has been up to, so. And guys, if you haven't, go check out 2-A Builds Models channel. He's got some pretty cool stuff over there and some pretty cool stuff coming up. Got to wait for the 3D printing pen to heat up again so I can start working more on this backbone. Now this model will not rotate, so just putting it out there. It's not designed to. I would probably have to take this into Mesh Mixer and do a complete redesign to get it to actually be rotatable. So this one does not do it, and I'm not even gonna even try reworking it right now. So what I'm doing right now is I want to put a bead of basically just a small bead to create a weld on this build point here. It's not going to look the prettiest, but I'll sort that out later with some snips and some sanding sticks. I'll get in there and clean it up. So nothing too crazy to fix that. 14 more degrees. Oh, awesome. Don't spoil it. Haven't watched it yet. I tried watching the first episode and I'm struggling with it, I'll be honest. But I just haven't given it the chance that it deserves. So that will be coming up. I tried watching it earlier today, but I'm kind of hooked on Yellowstone at the moment. So I'm kind of having a hard time choosing what to do here. I got a bunch of models, Douglas, that I'm kind of starting to get a real itch to build. And I'm talking model kits at the moment. I've got the TOS Classic Bridge model set. It's on its way. One of the original kits that I intend on building. A few other kits out there. I've got a ton of the starships. The Wizard, I am the same way. I get halfway through one, get it assembled, and sometimes just on to the next. I should really be ashamed of myself sometimes how I work with these prints. But it's kind of just one of those things. That's the name of the game, though, too. I just made a mess of that, but that's all right. That's a bit of an oopsie, but an oopsie that can be fixed. I'm going to try to get to this front. Let's see what's going on. Get this in place. We'll let that dry, and then I will maneuver these two into place here. Because one thing about this build is this is a little too short to what it should be. So what I've learned about building these is get this piece where you want it. And get it glued down. Then attach this top section. It'll go a lot easier doing that. Yeah, the Yamato was a beautiful ship. The Star Blazers, I've got a Yamato downstairs that I've printed, and I've also got the really big model kit for that one that I will eventually have to assemble. But that's for the other channel. That won't be on this channel. So And I've got a few other model kits down there. I was really big into the aircraft carriers myself, especially the World War II ships. I really liked the aircraft carriers for some reason. Those were my my jam. So I just thought they were, I know they're innovative, just beautiful looking ships for what they were at the time. I'll get that glued together there, let that dry. Then I'll probably come back with a bead and assemble that one together. But like I said, guys, the ultimate goal tonight was to get the core assembled. What I want to do is I'm going to put a piece of tape here and I'm going to prime and kind of get my base layers on the core before I put these on. And then I'll pull that piece of tape so I have clear 3D printing to 3D print there, and then I'll use the 3D printing pin to attach these for strength, for one, but also just it lets me do some easy work on it and lets me get these on there and assembled. So all in all, though, there's the bulk of the model. But before I head over to start slicing another model here, I got a little bit more work to do on my Normandy. Specifically, these two front little pieces. Need a little bit of trim up. And essentially, all I really want to do here is want to get the pin heated back up. I need to put these little pieces on the front here. And all I'm going to do is just use a little dab. Actually, I'm not even going to use the pin. I'm going to go a different route now that I'm thinking about this. I showed you guys a few streams back on how to make sprue goo. I'm going to give that a try while I'm sitting here kind of pondering a little bit. Is essentially, I get this on here. That is ABS mixed with glue in a liquidized form. That should work as a weld. But my hands may be the problem tonight. And probably the smart thing to do would be take it off the stand, actually set it so that it can actually dry in position. Your little nebula class would be useful. There we go. So once that dries, that should harden up. Similar to using the 3D printing pin, it's just the Tamiya mixed with bits from your sprues of your normal kits. This is the second version. This is the Normandy 2. And you can tell by the wings and the engines are kind of tucked differently. So this is the SR2. The SR1, I have a print for it. It is annoying. But when my Anycubic and my new Frozen arrive, which have that 13-inch resin build plate, you can bet I'm going to be going for another Normandy in that route. But they got to arrive first. And I probably will be using our sponsor's resin, eSun. I'll be using their resin probably to print with. So definitely one of those fun things. I don't know how well that's going to tighten on. I may wind up going back to my original plan and put a small heated bead there and pray. That's what happens when you get with small, thin parts. It can get real difficult to keep them on the model and make sure they're not breaking. But this one's been asked for several times at some of the shows and events I go to, so I finally made one. Which, if you guys are curious on making this one and finding this model, they're out in the channel. There is a video of me printing and showing you how to do this one. It is definitely a fun one. But the only thing about with this Tamiya, doing it with this stuff, it does take time to dry. And unfortunately, sometimes a long time to dry. Like that'll probably have to sit there overnight. So with that said, let's move over to the final part of what we're going to do tonight. Let's do some slicing. Let's move that. All right. So you guys can see I'm looking at doing Discovery from 2001 Space Oddity, and you can see there are a lot of parts and a lot of prints that are going to go to this, and you can definitely tell they're not going to fit on my build plate. So we're going to clear the build plate, and we're going to just start off with some of the main pieces. So this is a CR10 build plate that we're working with. Raft, yeah, the raft doesn't need to be a 10. It can easily be a 5. Oh, not a 50. 5. So there's the main front piece of the ship. That's one big piece right there. Let's go get some more. There's a lot of modules, a lot of joints. Let's look at the core. Okay, we'll do the core. Cone. A lot of parts this one. This one's going to be a big bit, one of the bigger builds that we do on the channel, I think. But it's definitely laying down. That collar. Alright, so that's the back of the dome, or at least it looks like it. Should attach to the dome, maybe. That's going to be interesting to figure out. Oh, come on. There we go. Got it a little too close. Huh. Those are the modules. I wonder how many of those I actually need. Oh, okay. So all three are in the one, if you do it that, or in one. Okay. So if I were to go look at this, oh, I know it's out here. There it is. That is a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of those modules. Wow, that's a lot of printing. All right. Oops, that's not what I wanted. We'll come back to the modules because ouch. Let's get these joints. There's a dish. The HGA base. Wow. There's just a lot to print here. Oh, today I'm not worried about getting it to print. I am not worried about that. Looking at this model, it's been made well. It has been made very well. That's the first part I'm going to slice right there. It's made really well. It's made to connect. It's made to build. And one of the things you see about this is, you notice there's this hole. And that is because when they made the model, see if I can get in here on it, they made the model to connect together. So definitely is a print. It's going to be an expensive print because there's just so many pieces. I mean, those modules, I got to do 11 of them. 11 of the dang things. In all honesty, the smart thing for me to do on that would be to slice one module, put it on in my Ender 3, and just let all my little printers just go to work instead of trying to put them all on one build plate. Let's take a look at what these look like. Oh, view, camera position, front. Doesn't look too bad at all. Not a ton of support needed, which is the beauty of the design that they did here. It builds up and around very nicely. And that's not too terrible for those big pieces. So I'm actually going to save that one. Save it. I'm going to open the folder where those are stored. And I should have a CR10 V3. Oh, I do. Ready for a job. So I'll send that out there and we'll get this started. It's not completely hollow, but it's pretty empty. Probably what I would do, seeing the length of this, is a dowel rod. I would go get like a 7/16 dowel rod and actually put all the pieces along the dowel rod for strength. 'Cause it's going to be heavy. I mean, there's no doubt this thing's going to have some weight. Alright, so that model should be downloaded. And we're going to fire it off. See what we get for this round. So, going to be a fun print, I think. And something really cool. Now, you guys are here, so I'm going to leave the option. Go back and leave a comment on the video. Do this only on stream. Or just keep you updated on stream. Your guys' call. But the first parts are underway, so we'll see how it comes out. But the model is very well laid out. Very printable. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Metaform 3D is the one that made this model. I think it's very printable. Looks very beautiful. I think it's very sleek. Yeah, the dowel rod is going to probably be the best thing. So, but it's printing, so we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you guys up to date. But I think we're kind of coming towards the end of the stream here, guys. My voice is kind of starting to waver, and we all have work tomorrow, so that's just kind of the way it goes. And actually, I'm gonna pop back over here. Now that that's had a second to dry, you guys can see that front talon on the Normandy has adhered. It's not going anywhere. It is almost completely dry, so I don't want to mess with it too much, but I will glue this other one on here and a little bit of finishing work, and this Normandy is going to be ready to go for the priming shop. So got a lot of cool things going on, but definitely follow back onto the stream, guys. Leave the comment. Do you guys want to see me do the Odyssey completely on here like we've been watching me do B5 here? Which honestly, this is the defect I was talking about. You can see there's a groove in here, and the defect is my fault. It's how I put it on the build plate. But I'm going to just take Tamiya filler. I'm going to fill those holes in, sand them down smooth a little bit, and there we go. B5 is definitely rolling out and working like a charm. So appreciate you guys showing up tonight. It always appreciated. If you guys do, consider becoming a Patreon. We're going to hopefully have the new video stuff to where you guys' names will reel through the video and stuff for being a Patreon. So, and I appreciate everybody here. Make sure if you got friends or anything, send them over, subscribe. Let's break that 4,000 and get on the road to 5,000. And yeah, keep growing and keep you guys ear to the ground for the rise of miniatures and models. First videos will hopefully be coming out soon. And like I said, that channel is going to be purely model kits. So it's going to be purely model kits. It's not going to be 3D builds over on that one because I like doing the model kits too. I've got some fun ones sitting around. You'll see Warhammer, Star Trek, Star Wars. As a matter of fact, I've got an AT-AT model kit on the way. B-Wing from Star Wars. The original classic Star Trek bridge model set is coming. I've got all kinds of Federation starships, Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, you name it, I've pretty much got a bunch of it sitting over there. Space Battleship Yamato, I can't, whatever its name is, got that sitting down there. So there's all kinds of stuff to be built. And of course, we'll always bring in the ever fun Warhammer. Work on teaching painting skills, different things like that, like how to get good golds. Because who here hates painting yellow and gold? But you know what? It's not that bad if you use certain techniques. So, but all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. Hope to see you guys in the next stream next week. It'll be on Tuesday as always. So thank you all for joining. Make sure if you're not new here, hit that subscribe button. If you are here, make sure you hit that like button. The more that like button's hit, the more we get out there. So appreciate you guys. We will see you next week on the next stream.